Yo, it's Jay's Wild Wonders here, and I'm super excited to share my first video with y'all. Today we'll be diving into the wonders of the Sea Life Aquarium in Grapevine, Texas. If you're not familiar with the area, it's right in the heart of Dallas, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, just between the two cities and super close to the DFW International Airport. Let's start with the first creature that we spot in this tank, and that will be a cow-nosed ray. These amazing creatures are cartilaginous, meaning their entire skeleton is made out of cartilage, much like a shark. To tell them apart from other species that are fairly similar, you can look at their snout, their color, their wingspan, and even their tail. These cow noses are usually pretty calm, but it's best to admire them from a safe distance without handling them unless you're trained or you have someone that's qualified to do so. While they're generally friendly, they do have a venomous spine on their tail, which they use for protection from other predators. Now, just below the cow nose, you'll see a common stingray. These rays are found near the northeastern Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, and even the Black Sea. They usually prefer murky or muddy waters, but it really depends on the species, to be honest. Here's a little fun fact. Most stingray species are considered vulnerable on the conservation scale. This is because they are poached for their skin to make leather, and their gills and other parts of their body are harvested for Chinese remedies and medicines. They're pretty common among reefy and rocky areas along the western Atlantic Ocean. They thrive in tropical seas from the coast of New Jersey all the way down to South America, for example, like the coast of Brazil. These eels don't rely on electricity for defense or hunting. They actually don't even have that special organ to do the electrical attack like a Pokemon. They use their incredibly sharp teeth and their second pair of jaws that they have that are in their throat to help them digest food. And right next to that green moray eel, well, pretty close to it, is an eastern blue grouper. While it's called a grouper, it's technically not even a grouper at all. It's a larger species within the wrasse family. It's usually found in coastal waters of southeast Australia. What's fascinating about this fish is that it's a sequential hermaphrodite. This means that the fish can change its sex throughout its lifetime, producing as one sex, male or female, and later transitioning to the opposite sex rather than being both. This can change based on factors like their size, social cues, and ages. So whether they're socially awkward or too over egotistical could change their fate pretty much. The next creature that we got to look at is a green sea turtles. These turtles' diets change as they age, much like ours do. When they're young, they eat a lot less healthy foods such as jellyfishes, small crustaceans, sponges, worms, and even fish eggs. But as they mature, they start eating healthier, and eventually become herbivores, and typically only eating plants like seaweed, seagrass, and algae. Often when these beautiful turtles are raised in captivity, they're more prone to developing bubble butt, which is usually a sign of buoyancy problems rather than an actual bubble visible outside their body. Buoyancy is the ability to float in water. Next up on the list is the lionfish. These fish are loaded with venom. They have these long spikes that stick out of their backs. The venom that they have is called neuromuscular toxin, which means if you get stung, you're in a world of hurt. And that's a trip to the hospital right away. And it's going to be, you will be in a lot of pain, to be honest. It's not something you want to mess with. And if you look somewhere down here, you can see the 3 moray eels that are just chilling in the structures that sea life has made for these lovely yet terrifying creatures. Next up on the list is the black tip reef shark. You'll find them in shallow Indo-Pacific reefs. They love eating reef fish, crustaceans, and even mollusks. They often hang out in small groups. They're considered not dangerous to humans, but I wouldn't mess with them. They are very curious, and they may seem harmless, but that does not mean you should go and try to pet them or, boop them like a cat. They have a very powerful bite and razor sharp teeth. The next thing on the list is the yellowtail kingfish, otherwise known as the amberjack. Even though the amberjack seems calm and relaxed, they're actually quite the avid hunters. They eat baitfish, squid, prawns, garfish, pilchards, and there have even been reports of them eating seabirds. Next up on the list is a nurse shark. This shark is, I'm not gonna lie, one of my absolute favorites in this whole video. They're so chill and they spend most of their days just eating and cleaning up the ocean floor. These sharks are like the ocean's couch potato. They find their food using their barbels, which are near their mouths, almost like a catfish does. They use these barbels to sniff out their prey from the sand. The coolest thing is that these sharks can buccal pump. This means they can stay completely still while pumping water into their gills, unlike other shark species that need to be constantly moving to stay alive and healthy. Next thing on the list is the white-spotted hermit crab. This is honestly the first time I've seen a hermit crab like this, and I didn't know they could get that big, to be honest. But they're covered in light brown sensory hairs and they can grow anywhere from 8 to 12 inches long, so about as long as a cross. Adult hermit crabs need a pretty big shell to stay safe and protected. Plus, these hermits are super active carnivores and scavengers. Up next is the skunk cleaner shrimp. They're named for their striking bold white stripe down the center of their back, which is flanked by 2 red stripes. They have long white antennae that they use to signal fish when they are ready to get cleaned, or when they're ready to clean, sorry. It's like that one scene from Shark Tales when they'd go into the whale's mouths to clean it out. Most fish have a mutualistic relationship with these shrimp. They help remove parasites, dead skin, and even old scales. So they're pretty useful. And they're also in that picture that I put with the moray eel where there's a shrimp in its mouth. That's what that shrimp is. Alright, enough of the salt water. Now let's talk freshwater. And in that topic, heading into it at least, we'll be talking about the red-tailed catfish. These fish grow really fast and will eat anything that will fit in their mouth. To give you an idea of how big they can get, they can easily reach anywhere from 3 to 4 feet and weigh up to over 80 pounds. The biggest one ever recorded was 123 pounds and 7 ounces and was about 4.62 feet long. Like other catfish, they have barbels to help them navigate the murky river bottoms. These are usually found in the Amazon and most of South America. Right, next up, still in the freshwater category, is the black pacu. The pacu is the older cousin of the piranhas, but they're very different than them. Everything from their size to their teeth. As I mentioned, pacu has some seriously gnarly teeth. They have flat, squared off teeth, unlike their cousins with sharp and pointy teeth. Pacu use these squared-like teeth to crack open hard nuts and seeds. Next up under the freshwater category is another catfish. It's called the tiger shovel-nosed catfish. Yeah, I know, it's a handful. These are large predatory fish found mostly in South America. They're nocturnal hunters, which means they like to hunt at night. They're also one of the most aggressive catfish, maybe even the most aggressive animal in the area. They eat fish, crustaceans, and insects. When they're in captivity or rehabilitation, they get a very high protein diet that includes sinking food like shrimp, fish pellets, worms, and interestingly, feeder fish. If you don't know what feeder fish is, it could be like minnows or goldfish or anything that's like a small fish that's not a predatory fish that you can get in abundance. That's a feeder fish. The next creature will be going back to saltwater. But the next creature will be the sunflower sea star. This sea star species has lots and lots of arms. They can grow up to 24 of them. These arms can grow up to, oh my gosh, 3.5 feet long. They're often very bright colors like orange, blue, red, and dark purple. They're notoriously the worst fear of sea urchins, clams, and even snails. Sadly, these alien-looking creatures are critically endangered because of a disease in the sea star community. This disease is caused by the ocean warming up to temperatures they shouldn't have reached. You can blame Elon for that. This has led a massive increase in sea urchins, which are overpopulating, and the kelp forests are basically being destroyed since the sea star has been removed from the equation. A fun fact about this little guy is that he can detach his arms to escape predators. When they do this, there's a chance that a whole new sea star can be born from the detached limb. Traditional sea star. It might be an Asterius or a I don't really know how to say it. Piesters. These sea stars are quite the creatures. They might seem small, but do not be fooled. They have a surprisingly effective way of catching their food. If their prey has a shell, they use their hundreds of suckers on their arms to pry it open. Then they slide their stomach inside the shell. This releases a powerful enzyme like juice that dissolves the prey inside its own shell, essentially turning them into a soup and drinking it. Heading towards the end of the video, this will be about their silent auction and like what it's about, but I didn't really get a good chance to take a look at what they had. But from what I saw, they are auctioning off a jersey from a college football team, some vintage Pokemon cards, a possible one of one Star Trek costume, and an autographed Dallas Cowboys helmet. All of the proceeds are going to the Beluga Whale Sanctuary. with all this being said, I think this is a fantastic place to go, whether you're going on a date with your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're taking your kids out, or you just want to go and see some new and interesting things. I encourage everyone to check it out, whether you're in Texas or you're just passing through Grapevine. It's perfect for families or fun, or just, really, like I said, just going to chill and, enjoy each other's company while y'all are out. That's all y'all could really ask for. And yeah, so peace out, y'all.